Episode 4 of the BMW M podcast. Welcome to you, Daniel Kalina.
Welcome, Nick. Thank you very much, buddy.
We are talking all about BMW M5 today. What a legendary car this is. We've got a very special guest coming up as well. That's pretty exciting, DC.
It is very exciting, Nick. My favourite car in the lineup, the M5 LCI, July production here in Australia as we speak. Nick, what about we go get our studio ready for our special guest?
I think let's do that.
Let's do it.
And now, it's a very warm welcome to Mr. Michael Schellhorn, who's the product manager of the BMW M5 and BMW M5 CS. Welcome to you, Michael.
Yeah, hello. Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate your time. Now, you obviously come to us with a very storied background. Can you tell us a little bit about your history with BMW M and some of the models that you've worked on?
Yeah, so my history at BMW M indeed started with the M5. So I'm in the BMW group for many years now, but I have joined BMW M especially for taking over responsibility of the F90 and now F90 M5 CS. So I have worked on a couple of cars earlier, for example the 3 Series Coupe E92. But this is, let's say, my first real baby.
Well, Michael, we're really excited to see that you're standing in front of the CS. Can you tell us when the development of that car began and what were some of the objectives?
Well, the development of this car began in 2017, 2018, so 3-4 years ago. And the goal or the target of the whole thing was to bring the CS letters, which stand for competition sport, to the next segment. After the successful M2 CS, M3, M4 CS, we decided, okay, let's go one step further, take the M5 and see what's going to happen if we put the CS letters on it with the next level of driving performance and all the typical CS ingredients.
Now, Michael, the BMW M brand is obviously has a very strong relationship with motorsport. Was the record class time at the Nürburgring one of the key goals for the M5 CS?
Well, yes, as you have mentioned, we have a long tradition as BMW and BMW M on the Nürburgring. So of course, if we bring a new high performance model like the M5 CS, we have the goal to be at maximum speed on the Nordschleife. And of course, this track was the main track to develop the car, to refine the car, to bring it to this ultimate performance, which you can also see on some details on the car, by the way.
Now, one aspect that's really impressive, Michael, is that you've been able to save 70 kilograms of weight. How were you able to achieve that?
Well, there's a couple of measures. As I mentioned before, the overall target of the car was to increase the performance overall on track and also on road, which means we had to define a power to weight ratio for this car, and taking out at the end 70 kilograms means that we started with integrating components like the carbon ceramic brakes, or special carbon seats into the interior. We reduced noise insulation materials, and we took some special measures like also the carbon hood to really, decrease the weight of the car while increasing the performance.
Now, Michael, I've always been a big fan of M5. I have 2 kids, so I don't need any more than 4 seats. If I include my wife, 4 seats is more than enough. Can you tell us what was the inspiration behind the interior and the way you've configured it with those 4 individual seats?
Well, the inspiration about the interior was to do something really special, which is not seen in the automotive competitive environment so far. Meaning also from an interior perspective, a racetrack performance, a racetrack feeling, the best driver and passenger feeling you can get while driving on a racetrack. And there, the idea was developed to not only implement carbon front seats, but also do a special rear seat installation with 2 single seats. And as you mentioned, the 4-seater or the sedan concept, we still have the Isofix preparation for baby seats and stuff in the rear.
I think it's been a big focus point in a lot of the markets, and especially here in Australia for those who have seen the concept. It really did a really good job there with honing in on that interior setup. So well done.
Oh, thanks.
Now, Michael, the power figure is absolutely astonishing. So 7 more kilowatts than the M5 competition. Can you tell us what you did to increase the output for the CS?
Well, basically, as the 4.4 liter engine is already so performant and so strong, we didn't have to change hardware. We did it with some software updates. So that we could increase the power output to 635 horsepower. And the torque level changed a bit. We have the same torque with 750 Newton meters, but the characteristics of the engine changed in order to really reach the ultimate high performance.
Now, Michael, it continues to amaze me how quick our cars are and how the evolution of our vehicles, in particular the M cars, just get faster and faster. The claimed sprint time is 3 seconds. Can you tell us, or can you share with us, whether the actual car achieved a quicker time than what is being proposed?
Well, of course, we always have to have in mind that if we tell or communicate a figure, which is 3.9 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, we have to keep in mind that this number has to be, let's say, reproducible. So let's say a good driver has to be able to reach this number, be it a customer, be it a car test magazine or whatever. So of course, during development, we had different levels of acceleration with our test cars, but in the end, the 3.0 is the number where we say, okay, this can be, let's say, guaranteed to be achievable.
So you're sort of saying that we can achieve quicker speeds in the right environment with the right driver, but you're not technically saying that either.
Yeah, so as I said, this number is really, I think, a very competitive number.
Yeah,
and we want to be authentic, and we do not want to, let's say, just write some figures and without being 100% sure that this is also realistic.
Yeah.
Now, Michael, among the many interesting styling elements and interesting aspects to the exterior package are the yellow headlights, the light tubes. Was motorsport an influence in that? Because we've seen that among many endurance race cars before, and it's such a striking element, and I'm sure it'll look amazing on CS when it hits the road.
Yes, definitely. So those light tubes will be in yellow. It is, let's say, reminds us on the tradition of BMW in motorsports, in endurance racing, as you mentioned. And we wanted to bring this element to the special car to show or to bridge the two worlds of road and race cars in the tradition of BMW M. Should we turn the light on just for a moment?
Yeah,
that would be great. Please, yeah, thank you.
Probably leave them on, actually, can't we?
Yeah.
This is the yellow light tubes. which I think
very
fit
impressive.
perfectly also to the car as such.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
Now, Michael, in relation to the handling, we've got the retuned bearing springs on the front and the rear. Can you tell us what impact that plays with the overall handling of the car?
Yeah, so we learned, beginning with the F90, with the M5 competition LCI, we have learned a lot from the M8 Grand Coupe, and we took some dampers from this car. And for the M5 CS, we took the same setup, but then refined it in terms of adapting it to the reduced weight, to the track tires which we offer for this car, and to the, let's say, to increase the overall handling performance and feeling, so that it gets even more precise, even at absolute high speed, but still stays comfortable enough to do longer road trips with it.
That actually feeds directly into my next question, Michael, just to get an understanding of the multiple, I guess, abilities of M5 CS, in that it can be a track weapon, but it can also be a very comfortable road car for long trips. As well as what you've described, are there other aspects that you can talk about that really make this the ultimate all-rounder?
Yes, so as mentioned before, it is, even if this car, or as this car is at ultimate high performance level, it's still an M5, it's still a sedan, and our clear target was to keep its everyday usability, which means that it drives comfortable for longer distances, so you can take it to the track and then do some track laps and then return in the car home, or do your holiday trips. As I said, for the small members of the family, we still have the Isofix mounting at the rear seats, and also in terms of interior, I don't want to say noise, because the sound is different from the regular M5, but also there it's still okay. You feel comfortable as a driver or passenger, and all these measures lead to a, let's say, full everyday usability of the M5 CS.
Now, it's an incredible car, and we can talk for hours and hours about the car. We cannot wait until the first production that comes out of March hits our shores. We have 20 that are coming to Australia, so we're extremely excited to, or at least Nick and I will be extremely excited to test drive one if and when we can. But we want to know a little bit more about yourself, Michael. So can you tell us, what is your daily drive car?
Well, currently my daily drive car is a 3 Series sedan.
Yep.
So with the 340 with the 6-cylinder engine. So yeah, that's what I'm driving for everyday use at the moment.
I think you need to get a petition, Michael, where we all sign that you should be driving in an M5 as your daily drive car at the very least. So I'll be happy to sign that one for you if you like.
Oh yes, I would be happy to. Well, I'd say it's maybe a bit a matter of money.
And Michael, given you've worked on so many different cars and different projects, do you have an interest in the history and the heritage of the brand, and do you have any classic cars in your garage?
To be honest, I don't have any in my garage yet. I'm very interested in the E39 M5, to be honest. But I haven't found the right car yet. And for future reference, this beast here would be the perfect classic car. It just comes down again to collect some money, I think.
Yeah, agree.
We agree.
Now, I mean, we Nick and I are fortunate in the roles that we have, where we get a bit of an understanding of what's coming up and what's being developed within the BMW M family. Is there any sort of hints that you could tell our listeners, without divulging too much information, about what future projects you are working on?
Well, that's a difficult question, and you might understand that.
And I don't want you to get fired, so
tell
please.
you. Yes, because then it's over with M5 driving.
Exactly.
So I'm working on a couple of new topics and new projects, and what I can say is that there will be very exciting things to come up from BMW M. But as I say, we have to come back later to you on that as soon as it's okay to talk about.
But it's fair to say there is consistently development and projects within the pipeline, not only for the BMW Group, but obviously the M family itself. It's forever developing and evolving with the times and always leading with the pack there. And we know there's some exciting things coming up in the next couple of years. So we're really looking forward to that. We hopefully have the opportunity to interview you again at some stage where we can deep dive into those topics in a little bit more detail. So yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah, so you can be sure that at BMW M we won't stop, and we will continue to be the leader of the pack, definitely.
Well, that makes us very happy, Michael. So thank you very much for your time. We wish you a really good day, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully in Australia soon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure, and I also hope to be in Australia at some point in the near future again, just because also myself I have some relations to Australia, with friends and family. So yes, hopefully see you soon. Thank you.
Well, we'd love to host you. We'd love to look after you. So let us know when you're planning on coming down. Really appreciate your time, the effort you've put into it, and what an amazing machine you've developed there behind you. We cannot wait until this hits our shores in Australia. So once again, thank you very much, Michael, and appreciate your time.
Thanks, Michael.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Well, wasn't it a privilege to talk to Michael about the M5 CS?
It was. We were very fortunate to get access to him.
Yeah, it makes a real difference.
It does, and it's good for him to highlight the features and what he's been working on lately. So just on that, Nick, how about we go through the vehicle that we have here with us now, the Life Cycle Impulse, which took place in July of last year, so the update. Styling wise, we've got modernised styling package, which includes obviously the new front, side, rear elements, the updated kidney grille.
Yep.
We have a one-piece high-gloss surround design around the frames, which gives both the elements to the grille. Absolutely love that high-gloss black surround. It's one of my favourite features. New apron as well, Nick. Bold and new contouring.
Yeah, that's right, and larger air intakes. So feeding that big 4.4 litre twin turbo V8.
Yeah,
needs a lot of cooling.
It does need a lot of cooling, and if you take into consideration the new L-shaped light tubes,
really
obviously
nice.
with the blue little eyebrows that the car gives off. You got the individual shadow line. It really gives it a much more aggressive stance when you see that car coming up behind you in the rear view mirror.
And know when to move out of its way.
And yes, exactly right. Thinner wall exhaust pipes.
Yep. That's right, and that just adds another look to the rear. I mean, it's obviously still got that amazing sound that we've become accustomed to.
And again, very much that aggressive rear stance with the new tail lights.
That's right.
Gives it a little bit more of that three-dimensional look. And we should mention, Nick, this is one of our new colours in the range, the Matigi Red.
Yes.
Which is a new one for the M5.
Doesn't it just show that red works on BMWs, especially the M5?
Definitely, and it sort of highlights the black features of the high gloss, the carbon roof.
Good contrast.
And the wheels themselves, and you've got the red brake calipers, which sort of pop as well. Interior-wise, new screen.
12.3 inch,
absolutely amazing. Love the clarity and all that. And again, a very important feature amongst BMWs is the fact that screen works similarly from a 1 Series all the way to an M8. It's something that BMW drivers really appreciate, is that you can go from one car to another within our range and not get confused with how the actual functionality of the screens and the head-up display and the actual cluster work.
I mean, iDrive is seamless. You know,
it is
for a long time,
and it gets better and better every time, doesn't it? With every new model, every new update, they just find something else to sort of tinker with to make it a little bit more user-friendly. 2 new buttons in the centre console.
Yes, so being able to turn it into track mode very easily, so that collates all the systems. ready for track use.
Quick switch between road and sport.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Track mode again, one of my favourites, and we spoke about that in our last podcast around M3 and M4. So it's such a real cool feature for the die-hard sports fans. Dynamics and handling, again, a slight little differentiation. We've got the bespoke engine mounts with a stiffer spring rate.
Yep. So engine response is even better now.
Yep.
Which is hard to believe.
Bit more of a firmer connection.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And new shock absorbers as well.
So from the M8 Grand Coupe.
That's right.
Yeah.
So adopting that technology from a large car, but striking that balance between handling and ride.
It's amazing. I could never think how they could fine-tune and make the M5 even better than it was with this life cycle impulse. And it goes to show you the amount of work, the amount of engineering, the amount of structure that goes into place on developing something more from its predecessor. And we're going to see something again with the M5 CS. It's just another element,
right.
The
sheer amount of road testing as well that follows that development.
Yeah, I can just imagine. It'd be fun doing it though.
The poor people have to do it.
Oh, I feel sorry for them. And look, I know I haven't gone as far as doing road testing, but I have had the privilege of driving the M5 on a few occasions with the family and with the baby seats and the pram, and doing the daily chores around home, and also going on those long drives. And it's just an amazing crossover vehicle of a family drive car and one of the fastest production cars that we've ever produced.
Four-door supercar.
Four-door supercar, exactly right. And soon to be a four-door supercar with 4 bucket seats, which I absolutely love.
Well, what a car, DC. Pretty exciting, lots of detail,
incredible.
Amazing performance, incredible output. I'm looking forward to seeing many more of these on the road.
Oh, I completely agree. And that interior, that 4-seat concept just blows me away. And the fact that they've still got the ISOFIX anchor points there so we can put the 2 baby seats in the back. I love it. I absolutely love it. There was a reason why this was one of my favourite cars.
So you're looked after then?
I am looked after, Nick. Yep. You just need to get there still. So just a couple of housekeeping items, Nick, before we finish off. We, as always, need to thank DAS Media for the lovely work that they've put together in making all this happen, all the equipment and the time and effort they put into putting the podcast together, or the video cast, I should say. Secondly, and also just as importantly, are the guys at our lifestyle department. So we're wearing the current motorsport attire, as you can see. Obviously, M has a massive heritage when it comes to motorsport, and some of the latest gear is up there on the BMW.com website. There's jackets, t-shirts, you got mugs, pens, little trinkets,
all seasons.
You name it. There's something there for everyone, again, in every category, from a child all the way to your grandpa or your grandparents.
Or if you're playing around a golf.
Really cool. Or even around the golf, exactly right. And lastly, don't forget to send us your questions if you do have anything at podcast@bmw.com.au. Now, Nick, really exciting next episode.
Can't wait.
What can you tell us?
Well, we're going to be heading to Phillip Island, and that's where the M3 and M4 launch is happening. We talked about that in the last episode, we covered a lot of detail there. It's really exciting. I think those cars on track are going to be something special.
They are, and it's the first. It's probably the first track day our driver experience team have held in probably 10 or 11 months.
That's right.
I think the last one might have been around March last year, just before the lockdown and Corona hit. So it's a first for the DE guys for the 2021 calendar. First track event for the new generation M3 and M4.
That's right.
It's our press launch event, and we'll be recording live from the actual Phillip Island Raceway itself. So really looking forward to it.
Imagine hearing those engines exhaust.
It'll be phenomenal. We'll get to do the hot laps and everything else like that. We'll interview some of the new team that have just made way to the driver experience.
You might take me on a hot lap.
I will take you out on a hot lap, and maybe even a hot date afterwards. So again, thank you all very much. Look forward to that. That's going to drop around the last week of February. Again, please support us. Mention any comments or likes or anything you'd like to see on our podcast by emailing us through. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for everyone for all their support, and that's another wrap.
Well done. See you next time.